So here we have yet a new version of make count. And let me first show you how it behaves. So, oops. I call C1 repeatedly, and I seem to get a list of two numbers that are both going up. And now let's call C2 a couple of times. And you see that the first number is the count of how many times this particular counter instance has been called. The second number counts how often any count instance has been called. OK? So I'm going to attempt to draw an environment diagram for this. So first comes the definition of make count. Here's the global environment, G. The defined make count up at the top of the screen doesn't have parentheses around make count, so there's no implicit lambda there. So we're going to start by evaluating the second argument to define, which is a let. Now, a let does have an implicit lambda. So that let glob 0. Oh, sorry. Up on the board here are the two key rules from last time about environment diagrams graphically. And they say lambda, and only lambda, creates a procedure. And in the procedure, the left bubble points to the information from the lambda. The right bubble points to the current environment. Only procedure calling of lambda-created procedures makes a frame, makes a new environment, which consists of a frame, a box like this, in which formal parameters from the lambda are associated with actual argument values from the procedure call. And then that frame extends the environment pointed to by the right bubble of the procedure. So this is just graphically the key information from that explanation on page 320. Now, so that let that's on the screen is actually a lambda expression. So it's lambda of glob. And then the body of the lambda is the body of the let, which is lambda nothing, blah, blah, blah. OK, the whole rest of it. And then that procedure created by that lambda is invoked with the actual argument expression 0. OK? So first we have to do the lambda, and then we have to do the procedure invocation. So a let does both of the key things. It creates a procedure which we're just going to call once, and the whole point of calling the procedure is to create a frame. So we start by creating a procedure. And in the book, instead of just putting a lambda expression down here, they separate it out to parameters, glob, and body, lambda, no arguments, blah, blah, blah. And the right bubble points to the current environment at the moment we see the lambda expression. What environment is that? Well, there's really only one choice at this point. So we get an arrow like this. And now we're going to actually invoke this procedure with the argument 0. 0 is self-evaluating, so nothing happens in the environment diagram about that. But we create a box which we'll call E1, in which glob is 0. And this environment, this frame extends the environment pointed to by the right bubble. Again, it's pretty obvious which one that is. So now that I've made this new environment, I'm going to say, OK, with E1 as the current environment, evaluate the body of this procedure. By the way, does this procedure have a name? No. Nothing points to it. We just create it, we invoke it, and we're never going to use it again. So the result of invoking it, because the body is a lambda, it's going to make a procedure. No parameters. Body is let loc, etc. Extending the current environment. What is the current environment? Now there's a choice. Who thinks it's E1? Who thinks it's G? Well, OK, everybody who's brave is right. It's E1. Now what? Does anything say to invoke this procedure? No, nothing says that. This is another place where students often get confused in drawing environment diagrams. You do a let, and the let creates a procedure and invokes it. And then you see a lambda, and you think, oh, OK, I'm supposed to create and invoke this procedure. But you're not. Lambda just returns the procedure as its value. So that's the value of this lambda. And therefore, it's the value returned by the let. And therefore, make count is this procedure.